Yeah, now Bibi's back. He gets to hang out with his best friend Trump. He gave him the pager. Did you guys see the pager?
The golden pager, yeah.
The golden pager. Why would you give him the pager?
What do you mean?
Well, the last time that you gave a guy the
I know,
pager-
it is kind of a weird, I mean, no, it's fucked up and sadistic on so many levels that it's hard to take in. Like, it's hard to take in the, like, totality of evil that him presenting a golden pager to Trump signifies.
Yes.
Like, it's really, it makes me feel extremely, extremely despondent.
Yeah, and for all you fucking shit-eating pieces of shit, which I guess that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but you know what I'm saying there. For all you pieces of shit out there who've been like defending Israel on this like liberal-ass tip, which became a little more unfashionable.
Who was doing that?
Every Democrat.
Oh, no.
You know?
I thought you were talking about our listeners.
No, not our listeners.
Oh, right.
Our listeners don't know about Israel yet.
Okay, sure.
We're telling them about it this episode. It's this crazy country, you'll never believe it. But there is no other Israel. This is the Israel that there is. You know what I mean? There isn't like another mythical Israel. There's no other. This is Israel. It is Netanyahu giving Trump the fucking golden pager in some kind of, it was like a plaque made of like a stump.
It was supposed to be an olive tree.
That they cut down.
Right.
Oh, similar to how oftentimes settlers in the West Bank are allowed to murder people with impunity, Palestinians who are just out in their olive groves picking things.
But also how they literally do cut down all of the olive trees of Palestinians.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like got to do with southern Lebanon too. I don't know. But that is Israel, and it is in the White House. But the point is here, Trump and Netanyahu met on Tuesday, and after they were finished performing the wildest mutual oral copulation in human history, I don't think they physically could, actually. I don't think that Trump could 69. I think he could do it from the top.
Geometrically, it would.
Let's move on.
His belly would form too much of a mound.
Let's move on. It's actually more of a temple mount.
A temple mount, exactly. Wow.
There you go.
Wow. And Netanyahu seems short to me, although he's probably like 5'6", 5'7" tall. Trump promised to annex Gaza. So Trump said he is going to annex Gaza. Mm-hmm. So he'd already said on January 20th, on Inauguration Day, that Gaza would make fine real estate. On January 26th, he says that, maybe the Palestinians can move to Egypt or Jordan. And then at the press conference the other day, he lays out a number of things, including that Palestinians have had tremendous bad luck in Gaza. Can't really fault him there. That is true. But seems to imply, I mean, it's Trump, so it's difficult to parse here, but he seems to imply that we're going to build them some nice houses in some other place.
So forcibly move the Palestinians.
Ethnically cleanse, yes.
Yeah, ethnically cleanse to another location and then build... I would assume Trump hotels, golf courses.
One would assume, yeah.
Sweet greens, crumble cookies.
Mixed use. Yeah,
mixed
you YIMBY
uses.
fucks. You can fucking move in there with your fucking Gary Tan.
Well, I mean, isn't that the
YIMBY
birthright dream?
It really is, yeah. Well, I mean, what is Israel but YIMBY writ large? The Trump plan here does not seem very well thought out, Liz.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like someone thought of it. It's funny because Mick Mulvaney, right, who was part of Trump 1, he came out and he was like, that doesn't sound like Trump, which is like such a funny thing to say. But he was like, I was reading it and they're like, he's like, I was puzzled to hear the proposal to lay it out. And he says, it wasn't him. It was not his language. And I was like, I don't know. The man who worked for so long to get us out of the forever war in Afghanistan was up here on the podium saying, we're going to occupy this land for the next 10 or 15 years. It made no sense to me.
Well, Mick Mulvaney, it might not make sense to you because you're fucking stupid. But Trump, first of all, did not get us out of Afghanistan, did not get us out of Syria, fucking lied about both of those. And in fact, in Syria, he said, we're going to leave the troops there on the oil. And that's exactly what he did. In terms of Palestine, I mean, listen, he's compared it to the Riviera, which, listen, I don't know. I've never been to Gaza, but that shit isn't the Riviera ain't that a river?
What? No.
It's
The
like the
Riviera.
south
The
of
French talk
France?
about like the French Riviera.
I don't know what that is.
Think about Monaco. Think about all of those fucking casinos on the beach.
In my head,
the F1, there's gonna be an F1 Gaza.
Yeah. In my head, the Riviera is a rivi. That's like the French word for river. And there's like a cool river that like the people are on.
No, think of like a coastline with a bunch of
Yeah, like southern France
capitalist activities.
I know
like-
what the southern France is like. I just didn't know that was what the Riviera was. But he also says that we're leaving the anti-Semitic UN Human Rights Council. We are ending all funding for UNRWA and putting maximum pressure on Iran, designating the Houthis an FTO. And I just want to put a point in several of those past things. First of all, maximum pressure on Iran was something that we were already trying to do alongside Israel. The Houthis had already been designated once again as a foreign terrorist organization by Biden after October 7th, when they started standing up for the Palestinians. Even though Biden had taken them off in 2021, Biden actually had put them back on. And frankly, whether Biden and his group of puppeteers or whatever are calling the UN anti-Semitic, I'm sure that many of them have. They're going to treat it the same exact way. They're going to fucking sanction. Like Trump is much more. Trump hates the ICC, but like these people will vote against all the Palestine stuff. It doesn't matter. This is like, at least Stefanik is in there now, and like her. I don't know how to describe this, but like her, like the way that she is going to actually act in the UN. How will that be functionally different than like Biden's people?
I don't think it
acting in
will.
there? Because like we vote with Israel and everything.
It'll just be a difference in how the media covers it.
Exactly. But Trump's talk about annexing Gaza is also, it's funny because this had been sort of floated without the Riviera talk, without the Trump Hotel kind of like implications there this is like the Israeli plan for a long time, but it's also been floated reportedly by Blinken to move all of the Palestinians out of Gaza into the Negev and like send them to the desert.
And everyone said that was too crazy. But
Yeah.
Trump can come out and say it.
Because he's disrupting the fucking paradigm, Liz.
Oh my God. Well, apparently it might have come from Jared Kushner.
So Trump's alternative lifestyle son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who made his daughter Jewish, which is so funny that Trump has a Jewish daughter. But Jared Kushner,
Who is like posting bikini pics, by the way.
Ivanka?
Yes.
Yeah, she is.
Facelift and Ozempic.
How old is she? Ivanka Trump age.
I think she's 42, 45.
And she's a mother?
Yeah. How old is she?
Florida lifestyle, kind of. Yeah? You think they swing?
43.
We know they swing.
See how it's close.
The Kushner, listen, Kushner was like the architect of the Abraham Accords, which you might argue kicked off October 7th. He is fully, he's invested in all these fucking settler groups. Like, Kushner is a hardcore, like, Zionist agent, basically. Like, he works, it's just, but he's also really, really close to a lot of the Gulf state guys, too. So I guess you could just call him like a Middle Eastern mafioso, but hailing from America. He gave this long talk at Harvard, which I unfortunately watched the entirety of, with some Ford Foundation loser.
Did you learn anything?
No.
Okay.
I did. And I really was like, maybe I will. No, it's just, they just talk.
Yeah.
It's less information than a podcast. But he talks about basically the same thing. It's like, we can annex it. We can make it really nice. There's talk about Singapore. And then, of course, Curtis Yarvin, who appears to be taking the Ozempic very well, has released an article yesterday basically saying like, oh, we should do a charter city there. And I agree. You know what? All you charter city guys, if you guys, Gaza, I think would be a great next step for you.
I think they should all go there.
I think go to Gaza, In fact,
go right now.
I foresee many difficulties with the mass removal of 1.7 million people in a brazen act of U.S.-backed, or in fact, U.S.-done directly ethnic cleansing. But maybe nothing fucking matters anymore. This also is coming at the same time that there is a renewed push to annex the West Bank.
Yeah.
So the Israeli thing is that Palestinians are just Jordanians or Arabs. Like, Arabs are all the same.
Right.
They're just, and when Palestinians, Jordanians. This obviously, any cursory knowledge of the history of the region will show you that this caused some problems in Jordan in the 1970s. And so I think the general thought here is to move Palestinians to Jordan or to Egypt in maybe some like weird, like, Khrushchev housing that we build for them in the desert there. And then annex the West Bank and and Gaza into Israel, or maybe make the Gaza like an international city, charter city, and West Bank just becomes part of Israel.
They did float the Madagascar plan.
Which is the Morocco plan. Liz.
No, there was one to go to Madagascar.
They're seriously sending them to Madagascar.
It's like fucking. There's like so many absurd. We'll just take them and put them somewhere else.
The Madagascar plan? Well, we saw what that turned into back in the 1930s. Guess it turned into Israel eventually. But Jesus fucking Christ, it's tough. Now there is a so this was from a Q&A with Trump. Liz, can you be Trump here?
No, I don't want to do a Trump voice. Can I do a question? Can I do the question?
Do a different? Okay, fine.
Well, question. How much time do you think it will take? Mr. President, do you support Israeli sovereignty in Judea and Samaria areas, which many believe is the biblical homeland of the Jewish people?
Well, we're discussing... I'm not doing the Trump voice either. Well, we're discussing that with many of your representatives. You're represented it very well, and people do like the idea, but we haven't taken a position on it yet. But there will be... We'll be making an announcement probably on that very specific topic over the next 4 weeks. So, I mean, this is Trump saying that we're going to make an announcement one way or the other on Israeli annexation of the West Bank within the next 4 weeks, which I don't think should come as a surprise to anybody. I mean, this isn't like a shock thing that's happening, but like it is, it is not good news.
No.
But maybe it's just hastening the inevitable. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe this will cause something, but it also, it showcases just the fucking cowardice of a lot of the neighboring countries. There's also now a House working group on Judea and Samaria and a push by Republicans to call it that instead of the West Bank in all official documentation. Yes. This is what Trump said on Twitter yesterday, which is we're recording this Friday, February 7th. He said, the Gaza Strip would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting. The Palestinians, people like Chuck Schumer, would have already been resettled in far safer and more beautiful communities with new and modern homes in the region. They would actually have a chance to be happy, safe, and free. The U.S., working with great development teams from all over the world, would slowly and carefully begin the construction of what would become one of the greatest, most spectacular developments of its kind on Earth. No soldiers by the U.S. would be needed. Stability for the region would reign.
I mean, this is absurd.
Well, I mean, in real terms here, this is talking about the mass ethnic cleansing of something less than 2 million people, and forced resettlement into areas that we choose for them. I'm presuming no returns there, and essentially the annexation by the United States there. It's really unclear with a global-led reconstruction effort. I mean, it's not reconstruction; it's new construction because we're not reconstructing their houses; they can't come back. I mean, it's just. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's sick. These people are sick.